Good morning, students. This is Mrs. Falag, and I'd like to introduce to you the quote sandwich. This is a method for incorporating a quote or paraphrase into your essay, and the quote sandwich has three parts. First, the introduction or the context. Second, the quote or paraphrase. And third, the explanation. Since I've already looked at your first drafts of Essay 1, I noticed that you're using information from a reading in an inadequate way. Let me give you an example. If you just simply state somewhere in your paper, "In Sister Flowers by Maya Angelou, Mrs. Flowers helps Marguerite gain self-esteem," this is a good start at trying to put an idea from a reading into your own paper. However, it doesn't give enough information for the reader to understand how this information from the reading connects with your own writing. So we're going to use a quote sandwich to beef up this idea and show how you could put it into your own paper. Okay? Take a look at this. Here would be that same idea ready to put into your paper using the quote sandwich method. In Sister Flowers by Maya Angelou, a respected older woman, Mrs. Flowers, helps Marguerite gain self-esteem. Before she meets Mrs. Flowers, Marguerite is too shy to speak in public. Mrs. Flowers recognizes this, so she introduces her to literature and has her read aloud with emotion. This enables young Marguerite to find her voice and to gain self-confidence. Eventually, Marguerite will grow up to become a famous writer, Maya Angelou. So now you see there's a lot more sentences than in the first version. Here are the parts of this quote sandwich. In red, this part here introduces the quote. Where does it come from? Here's the title of the reading in quotations, the author's name, and just a very brief sort of summary of the point that you're going to take from the reading. Notice there's also this phrase, a respected older woman, Mrs. Flowers, because maybe the reader has not read this story before, and this gives background or context to introduce the idea. In blue is the quote, or in this case paraphrase itself. Okay, so you can use quotes of ideas from readings, but more often we paraphrase or put the idea in our own words. Then finally, this is one of the most important parts of the quote sandwich, explanation. You can't just state the idea from the reading without explaining what it means. Okay? So the fact that Mrs. Flowers has Marguerite reading literature aloud, this enables Marguerite to find her voice and to gain self-confidence and eventually become a famous writer. So this is the quote sandwich. It has these three parts. And let me show you another document that has more information about the quote sandwich. Okay? Here it is. Okay? So, the quote sandwich, guidelines for quotations. This little document, which I'm going to put on the week 2, the session 2 description page, gives you additional information about the quote sandwich. You introduce the idea. That's the top layer of the sandwich. And in the middle is the quotation or paraphrase itself. And then finally, you explain it. And there's your sandwich. Okay? There's more information on this handout about verbs that you can use or words or phrases you can use to introduce quotations. And some examples. And there's also a little section on punctuation. Okay? So I hope this is helpful and that you will use this method in introducing quoted material or paraphrased material from reading and tying it into the points that you want to make in your own essay.